this, we move to the next part of the conference. An exciting session is going to happen. It's a fireside chat on elevate citizen engagement and outcome with the power of digital technologies. And for that, we have two eminent leaders with us from government and industry. Let me invite Golok Simli, Principal Advisor and Chief Technology Officer, Passport Seva Program, India Global, Minister of External Affairs, Government of India, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for him. Let me also invite Aditi Mathur, Head Business Development and GTM Meta, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for her as well. And I'll be playing the role of devil's advocate, the moderator for this session, so I'll be joining them there as well. Hello, yes. So, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today in the third edition of APAC third PSU Tech Conclave. Till now, we had two exciting sessions. The inaugural session in which we had the presence of leaders from the PSU ecosystem. They talked about various aspects of how technology innovation is being embraced by the PSU ecosystem in India. What are the pain points? That was also discussed, followed by presentation. And now, here we are for an exciting fireside chat on elevate citizen engagement and outcomes with the power of digital technologies. We have with us Golok Simli. He doesn't need any introduction. We all know what kind of work being done by Simli in last 25, 30 years. You talk about India's e-governance journey, he has seen it all. You talk about India's digital governance journey, he has seen it all. You talk about passport Seva transformation, he has seen it all. I always hail him as a man of technology. So what better question than to ask him to start this fireside chat is, your thoughts on the new age of digital governance in India and how digital technologies can be leveraged as an enabler to enhance the scope. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Souvik ji. Let me at the outset thanks your entire team for having me here. I also greet my colleague here, Aditi from Meta. No, it's a wonderful day. In fact, the areas which we are discussing today, I think, to the kind of a cause, to the points where we are actually looking where governance is heading towards, where digital is heading towards. And as you rightly said, if you ask my opinion, saying that what is the next phase or where are we heading as a government at large in terms of these digital initiatives, in terms of engaging the citizens at large, in terms of which I typically say that how do I connect with citizens, how do I communicate with citizens, how do I engage them wherever they are, and how do I deliver whatever I want to deliver, whether it is a passport services, whether it is a income tax related form filing, whether it is GST, whether it is DigiLocker. So anything and everything, I think 2-3 which very naturally comes to my mind is whenever we are dealing with masses at large, citizen at a scale, first and foremost thing comes to my mind is the democratization process I must follow, and that I call digital democratizations. So whatever platform I use, whether I use a SaaS service from a cloud provider, whether I use WhatsApp from Meta, whether I use any of these kind of applications or app, my take is I do not make any difference, right? In terms of, let's say, demography, in terms of geography, in terms of social conditions, in terms of those barriers of literacy, rural-urban divide. And I think that is the major challenge everyone we need to address. When I engage with industry, when I engage with people like you, academia, research institution, how do you collaborate together, bring it a sense of that kind of, whether it is technology per se, whether it is business sense per se, can I create that impact? And believe me, we are doing that. Whether I'm delivering a passport services, whether you are accessing a UPI app, whether you are accessing my DigiLocker, whether you are filing income tax, whether you are paying your GST services, these are proven facts, right? And how do we have achieved that? How do we have that scale, that difficulty, how do you made it simple? And when you make things simple in and use the power of digital, I think that is where we all need to focus in terms of when you are looking digital. Let me quote an example so that we can connect. Assume that I am delivering my passport information, or let's say my citizen feedback and grievance through WhatsApp as tool, right? Now, can I tap, because WhatsApp everybody will have, almost maybe 1.3 billion people will all have the WhatsApp in their hand. If I say that, okay, more than 1 billion people have the mobile connections, so they will naturally have WhatsApp, right? So if I have this kind of a platform available, can I disseminate that information which I want to communicate with the citizens? Can I take their feedback, sentiments, suggestions, and bring it part of my insights, bring it part of my policy decision making process, bring it improving my policy and regulations, analyzing my policy whether I am effectively doing or not? All these things is possible today. The other very important area we need to look around when we are talking about engaging citizen at a mass scale and technology, vis-a-vis technology, the other important criteria is the business in hand. I have today, let's say I'm dealing with passport, somebody might be dealing with something else, but the gap which I observe, Souvik ji, in terms of when we deal with various businesses or public sector at large or government at large, the information flow must be happening kind of a very seamless, right? Let me quote another example quickly so that we can connect. Assume that you apply for a passport services, and right from you apply for a passport services till you, embark in the immigration and then you fly away, can I make that experience very seamless? And once you come back again back to India, again that journey should be seamless. And this is very much possible, but imagine how much of databases I need to interact. Imagine how much of a interface I need to interact. And when I'm doing that, is that I'm violating any kind of data security, data privacy, no, any time of a no other concerns in terms of data and business at large. So that is how I put it forward.
So
Thank you.
that's the beauty of interacting with the Golokji, that he simplifies very complex things in easy words. Why I'm saying this, because you talked about simplifying processes. Sorry, again, that's part and parcel of technology. Anyways, so you talked about simplifying processes, streamlining processes, uh, and also how technology can make life easier for governance, for citizen engagement or service delivery. You talked about it, and democratization of data and digital uh, governance as well. You gave the reference of WhatsApp also, and I saw Aditi was smiling when she heard Golokji talking about WhatsApp. So we have Aditi from WhatsApp with us from Meta. Aditi, you heard Simli ji. You're also in the industry for many years. If I may ask you that, where do you see WhatsApp playing the role of game changer when it comes to digital governance journey of India? What can be done, or what is being done? How you can say WhatsApp fitting into that role of collaborating with government in that digital transformation?
Sure. Thanks, Souvik, and thank you and the team for having me here. It's a pleasure, and especially learning a lot from Golokji as well. So, coming to WhatsApp, right? At WhatsApp, our vision really is to make interaction between users and businesses for their everyday essential needs as easy, simple, and secure as chatting with friends and family, right? You're doing a good morning and good night every day. It should be as simple as that to be able to pay your bills, right? Book a metro ticket. And over the last few years, right, with the reach that we have, WhatsApp is with 500 million Indians that are engaged on it daily. And actually 70% of them already are interacting with businesses every week. and they open their WhatsApp at least 30 times a day. Right, with that kind of engagement and reach that we already have, we are uniquely positioned to actually help and support the public services sector to be able to provide a lot of these essential day-to-day services at scale in an equitable fashion. Right, to many of the points that Golok ji mentioned was, how do you get this, how do you democratize these services? How do you ensure that it's reaching everyone at scale, right? And they're getting the same level of information. That's really where WhatsApp kicks in and is uniquely placed. And over the past few years, we've actually done a lot of this, right? We've actually made life-saving information available during times of the pandemic, during COVID, that many of us may remember. On WhatsApp, you could actually book vaccination slots. You could actually find out the status of oxygen cylinders and beds in hospitals, right? And you can actually go and then, when things were done, actually download your vaccination certificate so you could start to travel as the world opened up, right? We also have made a lot of information accessible. So DigiLocker, the service that was provided by the government, is now available on WhatsApp. So you can easily actually access those services, and you're empowered to safely and securely store your documents as well as retrieve them from the DigiLocker right on WhatsApp. Right? And finally, I'll say a lot of the daily things that people really require at the time of need. So it has to be very, very timely, relevant, easy, and fast, right? So things like, even when you need to know about welfare schemes, right? We've partnered with the Department of Maharashtra for Children and Women Welfare. And you can actually women can learn about a lot of the schemes available to them and a lot about nutrition, right, for newborns as well as for new mothers. So these are things that are being made available at the click of a button, just via chat. And as we say, right, bato bato mein ticket book karo, bato bato mein bill pay karo. So we really want to make that as simple and easy for customers.
So it's like, as Golok ji said in his initial remark, that making things simpler and seamless. You're saying that WhatsApp is doing that, and WhatsApp can do that more. With engagement with government and public sectors in India. Golok ji, you have seen the e-governance journey and digital governance journey. From the beginning, if I say, you have won many awards, both nationally and globally. If I ask you, because you talked about simplifying things, seamless process, and again, Aditi is talking from the industry perspective, how WhatsApp can help in making things simpler and simplifying. But if I come to the challenges in terms of citizen engagement, what are the pain areas or challenging areas you still think that those things are there when it comes to citizen engagement from the government or the public sector side? Your thoughts on that?
No, I think absolutely, like Aditi said, we all are discussing, saying that the problem, or I'll say opportunities. Let's say opportunities in India today is, when you are dealing with, let's say,
So
more
you're
than
reversing problems to
into
opportunity. Okay.
So I always look into that side of the mirror,
Okay.
not looking into the other side of the mirror. So if you look into the opportunity, let's say, talking about more than 1.4 billion people, and take for the sake of any sectors, whether I am talking about health sector, agriculture sector, any sort of a utility services, passport services, any of these things, the scale is massive. Now, when the scale is massive, you are talking about 1.4 billion people. The challenges we face is, one is, wherever they are, assume that I'm accessing a government services from a remote village of Jharkhand, UP or Bihar. Can I get the same internet access which otherwise I will have, let's say, Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai? No, absolutely not. Then probably I'll look back to people like Aditi, saying that, okay, Aditi, can you create a platform, or Meta as a platform, saying that, okay, I can provide a basic internet access or a affordable internet access to the rural hinterland and masses, wherever they are, whichever devices they are accessing 24/7. And then I can latch on saying that, okay, now my services can be delivered there, right? The second challenge is the linguistic barrier. Assume a citizen from Northeast trying to access passport services, but he or she may not be aware of having understanding of English or Hindi or whatever the common languages we use or which we develop our applications, let's say, to provide services. But that poor citizen might not be knowing either Hindi, English, this and that. He or she may literally speak on their own local language. Can I really convert that into my business sense, give it back to the way she understand or he understand? Possible, right, Aditi? It's very much possible. And I can use this kind of a platform, WhatsApp kind of a platform, which he has to simply speak. And when I give back, again, WhatsApp will simply speak, saying that this is the answer for you, right? And that's how you get a passport services. Think of a health services, same example, any rural hinterland I'm trying to provide a health services. Can I make available my telemedicine services or the kind of, let's say, medical help I need to provide at that rural hinterland, the way the citizen is needing at that point of time? Again, possible. I can cut that time, I can cut that complexity in terms of making that medical services available, and probably I can also make the medicine and other equipment available there and there, maybe within 1 and 2 hours from my nearby hospital or any kind of a private hospital, possible. So the challenge for us is reach there, wherever they are, make it so simple. Technology has to be simple. For me, I might not understand what is your AI, Gen AI, what is your Meta, this and that. For me, it's whatever devices I am carrying, can I get that services the way I understand, not Souvik ji want to speak to me. I want to understand the language which I know, right? So that is the major issue. The other issue which all will face after the enablement of the DPDP law, which all should be very concerns, industry, government, academia, people like you. Let me quote another example so that you connect. Assume that a government has asked a Aadhaar card of a person's wife, right? Now the spouse is illiterate. She doesn't know much about what to provide, what to not provide. Her husband has provided the Aadhaar card on behalf of his spouse back to the government. Do you really feel that it's an explicit consent given by the spouse? No, it's absolutely no. You are simply violating the privacy principle of the data DPDP law, right? Now, in those scenario, otherwise I should have made an app available for the spouse saying that, okay, this is what the government is seeking for. Are you giving your consent through your voice consent, let's say? Then probably husband could have given the Aadhaar card, but you simply give, right? You do not even ask with your wife while giving back the Aadhaar card of your wife. But you'll get into a problem, right? So we are heading towards a scenario where these kind of problems will hit us. And that is why I am saying that make things so simple, so easy that a illiterate or semi-literate persons or a senior citizens who cannot type or he cannot listen can speak, right? And then you convert it into an action or insight, policy decisions, data security and privacy concerns, and that's how you deploy it.
Right. As Golok you said that, so I think if I go back to from where you started, you talked about seeing challenges as opportunities, but at the same time, I think you're focusing more on that point from where you started, that making things simpler. Government, be it industry, be it academia, all have to come together to brainstorm on how we take these government services to the masses, to the citizens in the most seamless manner and simplest manner. And there you talked about 3-4 challenges, which I think Aditi must have just heard. So Aditi, your thoughts on that how you heard Golok talking about certain challenges. One is grassroots level connectivity and other things. Where do you see WhatsApp addressing those challenges to help public sectors in India and the government departments, be it in central government or the state government? Your thoughts on that?
Sure. Thanks, Souvik. So I think many of the points that Sir mentioned are absolutely true, right? And what we're seeing. The first one that he mentioned was the reach. We have all of these amazing digital services accessible and available, but we still don't have a standard level of reach across the country. So there exactly is where sort of WhatsApp can play a big role and has already started to play a role, right? Is because, like I said, it's an app that's in every household and is available to every person on their smartphones, is easy to use, and hence it has a lot of sort of like everyone is actually used to using that app as well, right? So it's very familiar. So the learning curve on WhatsApp is very low, right? Versus every company today is trying to create their own app, is trying to create their own website, is trying to create different channels to reach the customer. I think we need to flip it over, right? What has to happen is what we do at WhatsApp is actually have a very customer-centric design way of thinking, right? It's not about you build it and the customers will come, because that has a whole other challenge of like the learning curve, right? And they don't even know about your app yet, but actually going where your customers are. So identifying the channels that your customers and citizens are using today and building for that in order for you to get that reach, right? So for example, with WhatsApp, we are actually will be able to support the government with all their needs, right? So with notifications, which actually sending, creating awareness about the different schemes, which having chatbots that can address the queries. So to the second point of you actually already have these AI generated chatbots in different languages. But right now it's more textual in nature. So we have bots with like HDFC Ergo, multiple companies are already using it, where you can interact with the bot in at least 12 different languages, Indian languages. So this is where users can actually go in, select the language of their choice and interact with the bot. And the bot on the other end for the companies and for the organizations are a lot more cost effective, because you can actually program them in advance to send automated responses to these customers, right? So both ends of the spectrum can actually be addressed to simplify the experiences to some extent. And we are continuing to make progress. So as I look ahead, there's a lot that we are focusing on, right? With all of the ChatGPT, OpenAI that's come in, we also within India are focusing and working with many of these companies within India that are actually then using our Llama AI models to build on it, so that they're building for localizing Indian languages. So all of these chatbots in a few months or years can actually then not just be textual in nature, but also be voice enabled. So someone sitting in the hinterlands can actually speak to it in their own language of choice, and that will convert it to text, will give a response, and then a response in voice as well, so the person can understand it. Because we already have the voice enabled feature on WhatsApp, right? So the foundations are already there. What we are continuing to do is continuing to evolve and leverage everything that's now available and the technology in the market to build on the app, on the WhatsApp app that's a favorite in the market. All right, and finally, I think you of course alluded to a lot of the DPDP Act and ensuring that the data is safe and secure. So that, of course, is extremely critical and top of mind for us. WhatsApp, as you know, is end-to-end encrypted. We're constantly focusing and building to ensure, building in advance so we comply with the laws of the land. And it's also global in nature. So WhatsApp's already there in Europe, right? So GDPR, etc. So as global teams are building on WhatsApp, they're keeping all of these data requirements, integrity items, etc. already in mind while building for it.
Right, right. So if I take a crux of what you have said, and by the way, when this service will be available, which you just mentioned that upgrading that thing, when it can be used in India.
So that's already in development right now.
Okay.
So we already have a speech to text. So actually, we have a bot that should go live in the next few months.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So basically, again, Golokji, what Aditi said, that they have those solutions like voice-enabled technologies are there. They're also trying to integrate other things again to make things simpler. We have come to the end of this fireside chat, but I'll ask one more question to Golokji, because you talked about that challenge that going to the grassroots level. And when we talk about going to the grassroots level, there's always a problem of digital connectivity. What's your thought on that how can we get rid of that challenge of digital connectivity in the grassroots level, vis-a-vis using newest technologies. Your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely. I think while we are no talking about one of the biggest concerns, maybe at the rural hinterland or remote areas, is the connectivity issue. But if you see the holistic picture, and let me summarize how, when you look into technology, government services, because we are at a public sector unit event, uh, government schemes, public sector services, product solutions, and other portfolios. One picture, if you can make very clear in our mind, the first, think of a PowerPoint slide, right? If I keep on the PowerPoint slide, the middle tier assume that my customer experience, you rightly said, how do I reach them? How do I connect them? The kind of transparency and accountability I'm looking for, the kind of data security and privacy I'm looking for. If I have to achieve all those things in that PowerPoint slide in the middle tier, what is that I need to address? I need to address 5 things. And first and foremost thing is I need to address, that is something I call workload. That is my business. What is the business I am dealing with? What is the business in hand? What is the government services I am trying to deliver? If I understand that workload, the second W is the workforce. What is my workforce? What is my user strength, employees, stakeholders, citizen as a customer? Do I understand that workforce? Then the third is the workspace. From wherever I'm delivering that service. Is it from a cloud? Is it from a on-premises? Is it from a kind of an endpoint device? That is the workspace I'm trying to deal with. The four is the workflow. What kind of applications I am using? Is it a WhatsApp application? Is it a web-based application? Is it an app through which I am trying to reach there, right? And last but not the least, kind of, we used to say web. Web is the most powerful device. Whatever I do, somewhere I'll interact with the cyberspace today, right? So if I understand those 5 Ws, trying to give those middle tiers, what is that I want to reach? I want to reach 4 things: speed, scale, security, and sustainability. It must be there for all time to come. And if I had to do that, let me go back to where I started with. I have to understand my data strategy. Unless I have a data strategy, and if I have to understand my data strategy, I must understand those 5 V's. From wherever this data is coming from, volume, value, veracity, variety, variability, unless I have this map in my mind, this technology, whatever platform I am trying to deliver to the user, to the customer, to the citizen at large, whatever product I am developing, whatever solution I am building, probably the end result which I am looking, the impact I am looking, the kind of sustainability over a time I am looking, the kind of partnership I am looking with the industry, I think everything will go for a toss. That is the learning probably I carry, that is the experience we are carrying, and that's how we are trying to deliver. So that's how I sum up. Thank you.
So the most important part is that we have to have a data strategy to reach to our ultimate goal of making things simpler in terms of rendering services to the citizen. And you talked about sustainability, speed, scaling up also as well. We have come to the end of this fireside chat. I'll ask a last question to Aditi. Aditi, you heard Golok at length for last 15-20 minutes or so, and quite important points raised by Golok. And again, if I take a synopsis of what he has said, the last part, data strategy, whether the government has the data strategy to implement various programs, and again, making things simpler and seamless. Where do you see that government or the public sector undertakings keep on reimagining themselves for future governance, and what role do you see organization can play in that in terms of enhancing the experience of citizen-centric services? We'll end with you.
So I think anyway, the future of citizen service delivery is really is going to become more outcome driven, right? I think that is key going forward. And outcomes really hinge on the experience that you're providing. right? So it all bogs down to what customer experience is being provided as you're thinking of delivery of these services. We know through multiple studies that what the customers are looking for are things that are simple, easy, humane, secure, and relevant to them, right? So it has to be very targeted and relevant. And that's really, where the public-private partnership comes up and becomes extremely critical, right? I don't think one can really sort of do it without the other. And if we have to drive it at scale. So the way WhatsApp can anyway enable these and help is we actually provide, like I mentioned, a lot of different AI services. So we're actually going to be continuing to sort of enhance these, because at the back end, it may sound complex, right? It's AI, it's generative AI, it's just the different tools that are going behind it. But for the customer, it's only going to simplify the experience, right? So when it's customer facing, it's going to be extremely simple as them speaking into a chatbot, getting what they need, and not having to go and walk into a service center and actually spend hours standing in queue to get the service that they require. They should be able to just do it on their mobile phone, which is with them every hour of the day. Right. Secondly, what's important is for it to be very personalized and relevant. And that is where sort of on WhatsApp, we're also building a lot of analytics tools and dashboards that will be made available, right? So as our partners implement chatbots for public services, for all of the different enterprises, they are equipped with a lot of these tools so they can mine and analyze your data and provide insights in a very targeted way, which can then be used by the companies and organizations to then send relevant information to the customer. Right, because as a customer, if I'm getting information about a car I don't want to buy right now, I will block them, right? But if you know that I have gone to your website and I was looking for a certain part of that car and you send me information specifically about that, is when I will engage with you and actually make that purchase. Right. Similarly for the public services as well, right? So if I do want to pay my electricity bill and I don't want to remember what day it's due. If MP Electricity actually sends this today, they send a reminder on WhatsApp to say your bill is due, and they've seen significant increase in payments and collections. So the user will immediately make a payment and that can actually be made. So it's about targeting to know that this user's bill is due tomorrow and sending that message versus sending a message to everybody at the same time when the bill may not be due. Right, and then finally, I think that the third thing that we're looking at and continue to do is, of course, a lot of the, we have large integrity teams that are there at WhatsApp. So we continue to also do a lot of added controls on our side. So you would have recently seen Meta Verified or WhatsApp Verified that we launched. So that's actually a green tick that is given to businesses because we at our end do a lot of due diligence and verification at the back end and background checks for businesses. Because with digital transformation comes a lot of digital theft, right? Cybersecurity issues, etc. So at our end, we're trying to ensure the businesses that we onboard, from a customer and citizen standpoint, you have visibility that the green tick means that this is a valid business, right? Because there is a lot of theft happening, say, with UPI, right? Where you're having to transfer funds and that was not even a valid business, right? You're sharing your pins with others. So we continue to do a lot of these, tools at our end, but also a lot of awareness around, say, payment safety, around what features are available on WhatsApp, so that we're also protecting citizens as we equip them to get onto the digital transformation journey.
Right. Thank you so much, Aditi, for your input. I think Golokji wants to add one point. We'll end with that.
Yeah, just food for thought for every one of us. In my mind, there are 4 things which is going to haunt every one of us. First is the cloud as a platform. Second is SaaS as a service. Third is AI and Gen AI as a powerful tool. And fourth is, I come back again, have data strategy and data governance in place. Once you think around these 4 things, whatever you are doing, I am dealing with public services, somebody will dealing with a product and portfolio, these 4 basket is going to hunt you everywhere. If you have understanding a holistic picture of these things, I think your job is much more easier. Opportunities are plenty, as I said, and you can convert a challenge into those opportunities, those kind of a benefits which we all are looking for. Thank you.
What a wonderful thought, food for thought, that converting challenges to opportunities and having those 4 pillars, if I say so, keeping in mind in which core is the data strategy, and the main aim and the sole aim is making things simpler. And I think that's where government, public sector undertakings, public sector units, and industry like WhatsApp can come together to make a difference, to make a better future. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. I would like to invite Sangamitra Mohanty. Co-founder of APAC News Network. Sangamitra, I would like to invite on stage to kindly hand over a small token of appreciation to our eminent speakers. A big round of applause for Mr. Golok, Simli, and Aditi Mathur for a wonderful fireside chat on elevating citizen engagement and outcomes with the power of digital technologies. Thank you so much. That's Golok Simli, Principal Advisor and Chief Technology Officer, Passport Seva Program, Minister of External Affairs, Government of India. Thank you so much, Golokji, for joining us today. We hand over a small token of appreciation to Aditi Mathur, Head, Business Development and GTA Meta. And we can have a group photo together. Yes.